Hello, beautiful people. How are we doing? It's been a little more than a week since I posted, and I just wanted to come on and share a bit because, as always, it's hopefully this will help somebody, and hopefully this will be, something that people can relate to and benefit from. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily biblical or anything about this. Actually, everything's biblical. What am I talking about? Life is biblical. Everything in life is biblical. Let's be real. So it is biblical. But what I wanted to talk about is, all right, so the Bible, says be angry but do not sin, right? And, it says things like whoever hates his brother and says to his brother, I hate you, in his heart, he is a murderer, right? There's things that the Bible says about, our heart and the position of our heart and how what our heart's supposed to be like. And there will be situations in life and there will be people. And this is the part, I know y'all can relate to this, okay? There will be people that will come into your life and do you so dirty, hurt you so bad. And it will be hard to maintain the right heart posture, Now, I want to talk with y'all about this because this is super important, not only for your spiritual health, but really your mental health as well. I used to repress a lot. I was the type of person, like, I just had to be in control of my emotions. Like, this is my whole life. I've always been like a person who needs to be in control of their emotions. And the way that I controlled my emotions, I learned to control my emotions as a child, was repression. So, and avoidance. So when something painful would happen, generally, one of the things that I would do is find a way to laugh at it. I would, and this was a coping mechanism, and it was useful, and it had its benefits and everything like that. But as I got older, and realized that I had just been really, instead of dealing with emotions and handling them when they came up, I was just pushing them down. And even in therapy and everything, I was going to therapy as well. But there's just so much that I was not handling, I really wasn't resolving. I was just repressing it, put it in this little box somewhere where I didn't want to think about it, didn't have to deal with it. And if you know what happens, this causes psychological damage. So you can't continuously do this. It leads to depression. It can lead to suicidal ideation. It can really have extremely negative effects on your life. It had negative effects on mine. And fortunately, I became aware of this habit like around the age of 21, that I was prone to repressing my emotions. So I made a commitment to myself at that time. Well, I got to stop doing that. So now when emotions come up, I need to deal with them. Now, granted, it might not always be the moment for you to deal with it. For example, if you're in the middle of battle as a soldier and you out there with your guns blazing and everything, and you got your partner next to you on your right and your partner on your left, and you see one of them get shot or whatever like that, something, or blown up or whatever, you're going to have a lot of emotions about that, right? But right there in the middle of the battle is not the time to deal with those emotions. Now, what happens is, the way the brain works, it works to protect you. So in that moment, just sticking with that same analogy, your brain could take that memory, because everything is so traumatic that's happening around you. Your brain could take that memory and isolate it and hide it from you, and just like keep it out of sight, out of mind. But then it's still there. And it will pop up whenever your brain is somehow triggered. And you might not even know what the trigger could be. A sound, it could be a sight, a smell, anything could trigger that Pandora's box to open up. Now you having a flashback or something that's like PTSD. Well, I definitely experienced something like that. And it really helped me to understand the depths of the repression, and how that works, and why that even happens. But really, those repressed memories, those repressed emotions, the scary thing about them is, number one, they can come out whenever they want, and you don't have any control of that. That part you don't have control of. The other thing is, those repressed emotions, they become your enemy, you know, and the farther that you get away from them, the less you even know why they exist and why they're even there. So you lose contact with the source of those emotions, the farther away they get. And it's like everything that happens to you that maybe, like, say it's anger, everything that happens to you that plays on anger, it kind of scratches that little box, or maybe a little piece of it. If you still repressing, you putting anger in the box, anger in the box, anger in the box, anger in a box. So one day that anger box is gonna feel and explode, and you're not gonna have any control over it. Now, have you ever been in and I think we've all had these moments where you was in an argument, you was livid, you hot, maybe you didn't want to argue, but you got to a place where you were so mad that once you started, you couldn't stop. Like, you didn't want to be mad or whatever, but once you started with that anger, once you started screaming or throwing a fit or whatever, you had to exhaust all that energy. It was like, ain't no stopping me now. No, let's not stop now. Well, I have. If you don't want to admit it, I will. I've been there. And it's from those experiences that I developed a method to handle my emotions in real time as they coming up. And then also, so when I feel something, if I don't have time in that moment to address it and ponder it and mull it over, then I'll wait for the right time, maybe later on at night in the shower, wherever it may be, and then I'll reflect. I reflect on, whatever those feelings are. I'll really take them, put them under a microscope, put them under a light, and ask myself questions like, why do I feel like this? What incited this feeling? Is it justified? Is this based on some past trauma that I have? Where is this coming from? Where are these emotions coming from? Do I need to speak to somebody? Do I need to address somebody? Do we need to have a conversation? Because this is something that, is detrimental to our relationship, or is this just me? So always have that inner dialogue first before I address anybody else. I'm going to have the inner dialogue with me to make sure that I'm not tripping. Okay. And then I'll speak. But this has become my process. So, but by the time I say something, I've already done all the checking with myself. Like, I've checked with myself to make sure, okay, I'm not, that the incident matches the reaction. The feelings that I feel are in sync with, the triggering incident or whatever, For example, I think I used this example before. If somebody steps on your shoe, and you shoot them, that's not match. That don't match. That don't match, right? Because that means you got a lot of repressed anger, and it chose that moment to come out. But that your reaction did not match the offense. So I always want to make sure that whatever offense that I'm feeling, it matches the action that was taken, right? Sometimes people do things on mistake, but it's like how you're triggered by it, you do have to take your accountability for that. Now, say you're in a relationship with somebody and you are working on this trigger and you just want them to be aware, hey, this is a sensitive thing for me. Please don't mention my weight or my height or my hair or, my limp or whatever it may be. Please do, if you could just, like, that's a sensitive thing for me, somebody should be able to respect that. But it's important to get to know your triggers. So, now, because I did spend so long of my life repressing negative emotions and feelings, now I try to deal with them head on. And so in me dealing with them head on, I've had to now realize, because I've kind of been suppressing. So that suppression is when, okay, I'm in the battlefield, I can't deal with this right now. Let me table this for later. Okay. Repression is when you do that for too long. All right. But I had been suppressing some anger that and let me tell you, anger is not a sin. Okay, it says be angry, but do not sin, right? You can be angry. Jesus was angry in the temple. He flipped the tables over. Your anger, matter of fact, you need to be angry sometimes, okay? It is healthy to express your anger. I had to learn this. Because the thing is, we always, especially having a people pleaser personality, we always want people to be happy with us. We don't want to disappoint people. We don't want conflict with people. However, and that's fine and well. However, you have to learn to develop the backbone to say, no, I prioritize and put up boundaries for myself and my own personal, mental, emotional, physical needs. I have to prioritize that. And I'm going to learn how to enforce that with people. And it doesn't have to be conflict, but if they see it as conflict and they want, and it has to be conflict, then it has to be conflict, basically, you know. But anyways, we can get into that place where we don't address our needs. We don't, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and financially, all of that, because we put others before us. Women primarily do this, okay? And our health is affected for it. Our days are literally shortened for it, okay? And so I had struggled with this to, like, okay, be more forthright with people, because I was forthright, you know what I'm saying? Probably to a fault where it was like, that repression thing was like, okay, by the time I say something, it ain't coming out right. So that's why, you know, now I do it different. You know what I'm saying? It's taking a lot of practice, but this method, it's been working for me. It's been helpful. So a part of my trauma, and one of the trauma responses that I'm trying to deal with now, and really, I really need to reprogram myself. I want to reprogram myself from this, because this is what happens, what I do. I withdraw. And I know that that's this last 8 days, I didn't post anything. I wasn't on YouTube. I finally got to that place where I'm like, okay, I've been suppressing all of these emotions. They're welling up now. They're ready to be dealt with. Okay. They're difficult emotions. I hate this person. And the thing is, I know from personal experience, I can't hold on to hate. Hate is not compatible with my spirit or my heart. So I can't hold on to it. But I have to acknowledge it so I can release it and let it go. I have to get through it. Can't go around it, under it, over it. I got to get through it, because the feelings that I feel are justified. I have justifiable anger towards this person, and I hate them at this moment. Now, will I hate them next week? Hopefully not. You know, but I don't know. I'm going to allow myself to feel whatever it is I'm feeling and let it process through and out. Okay. And make sure that I don't allow them to experience those feelings from me. All right. Just keep my distance. Don't let them feel that. Don't let them get that. You know, don't act out in that anger, in that energy. Don't act from that emotion. So once these feelings came to the surface, and they are pretty heavy, I withdraw. And that's a trauma response for me. It's like I go into this, I just withdraw from everything and everyone. And I go into isolation. And I really want to stop doing that. I really want to stop doing that. I have to, you know, I mean, that's what I want. I want to stop withdrawing, stop isolating when I'm dealing with, you know, traumatic things, you know. You know, ladies, when you're pregnant, when you're giving birth, there are certain things that happen during your pregnancy, during the birth. You know, you will never forget. You will never forget how someone treats you when you're pregnant, how they treat you when you have your children. You'll never forget that. And that's such a precious and sacred time that when someone does hurtful and hateful things to you during that time, it is very painful. It is painful. It's hurtful. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody, because that, you know, it's supposed to be such a joyful time. And, you know, for anyone to try to destroy that for you is it's so evil. It's such an evil thing. But this is what I'm wrestling with. I'm wrestling with all of these thoughts in my mind, like about, you know, how much I have to recover from the hurt, you know, and the anger and the hatred is really visceral, you know. And I'm like, I have to release it. I have to release it, and I have to process it out, because this person can't have any power over me. And then at the end of the day, guys, the enemy is after your heart, and he's been after mine for a very long time. He sent agent after agent after agent after agent to try to destroy my heart. And thank God for these babies. Thank God for these babies, because they are such a blessing to my heart. But Lord knows that the enemy has been trying to destroy the capacity in my heart and my spirit. And he sends people that are specifically tasked to do that, because they don't have any love in them. They only have fake love in them. They only have performative love in them. And for some reason that has caught me, that has gotten me. Their performance has been convincing enough initially, but thankfully, it's good to become aware of, people and who they are and their tactics earlier, sooner than later. Now I wish I could have done even sooner, but neither here nor there, folks. Guard your heart. I was telling my friend last night, you guard your heart. Because people will really, the enemy, the battlegrounds, one of the battlegrounds is your heart. The other battlegrounds is your mind. And that's what I've been over here doing. I've been fighting in my mind, in my heart, in the spirit. I've been fighting because my mind, the thoughts, like I said, that of just the thoughts of this, situation and this person, been battling those. And I know they're not going to stick with me. They're not going to stay. The memory will stay, but these emotions and everything can't stay like this. Hold on. Yeah, say hey, baby. Say hey. Yeah. So yeah, guys, just wanted to be vulnerable and transparent for a moment with you guys, and in hopes that it's going to help somebody and benefit somebody. It's really easy to, people make it hard to, they don't make it, I'll tell you, they don't make it easy to live by, the standard that Christ set for us, right? Which was to love our neighbor, to love even our enemy, right? Supposed to hate what is bad, of course. That's the only thing we're supposed to hate. But we're supposed to love our brothers, love our neighbors, love our enemy. And there are people in this world that make it very difficult. They make it very, very hard for you to love them, for you to even like them, let alone love them, like them, anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they make it difficult. But many are the afflictions of the righteous, right? So that is the test for our heart. I know the thing is, I know I can't continue to hate this person. It's just a momentary thing, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna pass. This will pass through. And I know this because it was a point where I hated my father, and that's a whole other story. But I could not do it. And you might, why would you? Yeah. Anyways, very, very justifiable, very, very justifiable emotions, I feel like. However, not really when it comes down to it. Like, you just can't hold that energy. You just can't hold it. And I was 19 when I was in that space of really like just anger and hating my dad, and it didn't last long, a few months before I even realized. But by the time I realized I was in that space, I snapped right out of it. So now it's interesting because that's a whole nother story, guys. But yeah, that was a wonderful encounter with God, I will say that, where he really just touched my heart and wiped out the hatred and really spoke to me like, that's not you. I could not be myself. I was like, I couldn't even feel the light in myself holding on to that. So I know that the feelings I'm feeling, I know this ain't nothing but the devil. Just like the devil tried to attack me 20 years ago. 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago when it's been 20 years since I hated anybody. And now I'm in that spot again. But just like I got through it, and I love my dad dearly, I'm gonna get through this. I am. I just need to go with the process. I just need to go with the process and continue with my process of healing. And pray for me. Pray for me. Pray for me that that I not only forgive, but that I can just heal. Because it's one thing to forgive. You can forgive somebody but still be hurt, from the situation. You can be like, and then just boundaries. Because I'm telling you, this person, they will never have access to me like this, like the way they will never have access to me again. And I hate that I even have to associate with them at all. Nothing would make me happier than to never speak to them again in my life. But that's not an option. So pray for me. Pray for me, because I just need detachment. Detachment is the best that I can accomplish. And then I want to love them in a Christ way. Actually I do. In a Christ, it's hard to say that right after I just said I love them. I hate them. But I have prayed for them. I have been praying for them. And I wasn't doing that for a while. And then God was like, you know, go ahead and pray for them. Pray for them. No. And I genuinely felt love. Like, I was like, okay, the love is still there. Good. Heart check. But this last, I don't know. I guess it was just like everything coming to a head. And the emotions just rose to the surface. And I was like, nah, you got to deal with this. So I withdrew. That is a trauma response that I need to work on. I got to stop doing that. I just have to. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. If anybody can relate to what I'm saying, let me know in the comments. You know, it's just not good to withdraw like that. You know, you don't return texts, you don't return calls, you don't return emails, you don't do anything that, you know, you know, it's like you just go into this cocoon. And I'm, you know, and I know that's a trauma response because I've done that. I've had to do that so many times to just maintain my sanity, protect myself. So I guess, you know, this situation, when I was finally time to process it, which I've been doing, you know, because, yeah, I needed to be able to engage with this person. So I needed to do some work so that I could do that and, you know, so I could accomplish that without being too thrown off. And so, yeah, that's the work we got to do. And it's really, really work. It's really work. And I pray that you all are doing the work. You know, I've been doing the work for a long time. And I think people take it for granted. People think you're lazy or you're whatever. But it's like, do you know the work that it takes to really manage the dimensions of your humanity? Your emotions, your body, your mental, your mindset, your spirituality. Like, it takes a lot of work. So it's not, everybody doesn't get around to doing it. And it's hard work. It's very hard work because it's challenging. It's super challenging. It's going to challenge the way you think about yourself, the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, the way you see situations. It's going to challenge you through and through. But just like the word, the daily prayer was yesterday, you know, source of truth. No, scout for truth. Scout for truth. Scouting for truth. It's all about getting to the truth within myself of who I am and what I've done and what I've allowed and what's happened and just the truth. And everybody can't do that. And so yeah, it's hard work, but it's worthwhile. Because when I see how many people are narcissistic and they literally they're too weak. They are too weak. They are too fragile to honestly accept any type of responsibility for their wickedness. They're too fragile and weak to accept any accountability for how they treat other people or how they make other people feel. They're too demonic to have any empathy or compassion for anybody else. They just don't have it. You know, like, count yourself blessed. Count yourself lucky. Because you could be one of them who cries at the thought of having to work on themselves, who literally shakes and trembles and cries when they think about, I'm not finished developing. I still have work to do on myself. Yeah, you do. Always. It never stops. Be thankful you're not like that, okay? And that you're even up for the task, because everybody is not. Everybody doesn't have it. Spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, everybody don't got it. So if you got it, praise God, thank God. And I just wanted to come and share that, be transparent with y'all, let y'all see my face, so y'all know I'm here, I'm still here. God is working on me. There are things that I need to do for Him, in connection with Him, so that I can show up better for you. And this last week definitely was a part of that, just processing these emotions. And this year is just going to get better and better and better. It's going to get better and better and better. And I'm just thankful to God for the opportunity to be here and to share with you all. And pray to God that somebody benefits from this message today. That what I've said is helpful to somebody. Somebody who's in a similar situation. I pray that, you don't feel alone now. You know, you're not in this alone. You know, we get ourselves in a situation, we have to deal with people and I'm like, listen, if I don't want to deal with somebody, cut them off. Bam. Smooth. Like that. Detach. Boom. 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 Talk to the hand, because the face ain't hearing it. All right. But, you know, when you can't do that, when that's not an option, and you have to live with people, you got to heal. Even when you can't do that, you got to heal. So, yeah, say bye. We're going to do our daily prayers and our daily bread. And there's something else I wanted to address too. I wanted to talk about, because it's been on my it's been on my mind for a minute, and I think it could be helpful as well. So his cheeks are just everything. Say bye. Say bye, Ashton. That's my baby. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye to the camera. There you go. Say bye. Say bye. He's so cute. Say bye. See you tomorrow. I pray this was edifying. I pray this was encouraging. I pray this was helpful to somebody. In Jesus' name, I'll see y'all later.